Discover the advantage of unlimited access to all the stories and resources from IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. From insights to inspiration, business leaders rely on the IBJ for all things Indiana business. Start your $1-a-week trial now at ibj.com/trial offer.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand for Friday, November 7th, 2025. Buc-ee's is in late-stage discussions to open at least one mega travel center in central Indiana. The Texas-based company is nearing a deal to purchase a nearly 28-acre site off Interstate 65 in Greenwood. Sources also tell IBJ the company is eyeing an undisclosed area in Boone County, potentially for a second location. While specifics have not been disclosed, it's expected a Buc-ee's development would feature an oversized 24-hour convenience store, expansive parking, and dozens of gas pumps, and hopefully lots of brisket. Terre Haute-based First Financial Corporation has signed an agreement to acquire Cedarstone Financial, based in Lebanon, Tennessee. The deal is valued at $25 million, and when complete, Cedarstone Bank will merge into First Financial, bringing First Financial's total number of branches to 82 across 5 states. U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth will travel to Fort Wayne next week for the 4th Annual Northeast Indiana Defense Summit. U.S. Senator Jim Banks is the summit's organizer. It will bring business, academic, and military executives from around the country to Fort Wayne to talk about ways to support and grow the defense industry. From the state's #1 source for Indiana business news, you're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio. Northeast Indiana is on the move, and the next big conversation is happening in Fort Wayne. Join business and community leaders at Innovate Northeast Indiana, a powerful afternoon of ideas, innovation, and insight. We're talking talent, technology, and transformation. And what's next for the region? Join us at the Grand Wayne Center Tuesday, November 18th for Innovate Northeast Indiana, part of the Innovate Indiana series presented by Indiana University and Old National Bank. RSVP now at ibj.com/innovate. Nearly 50 Indiana Department of Health staffers face being furloughed starting next week because of the ongoing federal government shutdown. State health officials confirmed Thursday it had notified 48 employees that they could temporarily lose their jobs effective November 9 if the shutdown is not resolved. Those employees work for the department's Consumer Services and Healthcare Regulation Commission. Columbus-based Cummins, which until recently saw huge growth potential for its hydrogen electrolyzer operations, now says it's reevaluating that business.
Cummins' chief financial officer, Mark Smith, told investors Thursday that demand for the hydrogen products has evaporated faster than anything he's seen in his career for a variety of reasons. Cummins makes electrolyzers, which use electricity to split water into hydrogen and oxygen, creating hydrogen gas that can be used to power fuel cells. Hydrogen technology represents a tiny part of Cummins' overall business, but it's an area in which the manufacturer has invested hundreds of millions of dollars since 2019. In 2020, Cummins projected that it would generate at least $400 million in electrolyzer sales, or about 2% of annual company sales, by 2025. But reality has fallen far short of the company's expectations. CEO Jennifer Rumsey said the decline in electrolyzer demand is the result of a reduction in government incentives to support green hydrogen adoption in the U.S., and because the market for green hydrogen has grown slower than expected in some foreign markets. In response to what Rumsey characterized as a very weak demand outlook for electrolyzers, Cummins is conducting a strategic review of its electrolyzer business to assess the best path forward. Outside of the electrolyzer segment, the company's third quarter results were much better than expected, sending shares to an all-time high. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Penske Entertainment Corporation and Gainbridge have announced a contract extension to keep the financial services company the presenting sponsor of the Indianapolis 500. Both sides only say it was a multi-year sponsorship agreement. Gainbridge signed on as title sponsor of the Indy 500 in 2019. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand.
You know, the economy and the market are in a hairy place these days. It's up a lot, it's down a lot, it's sideways, and it seems on the hour. There's breaking news coming out of all areas of the country. How do you get your head around that? How do you not go crazy in the process? I'm Peter Dunn. You may know me as Pete the Planner, IBJ columnist, and my job for years It's been to help you understand your financial life better in context with everything else going on. So, what am I encouraging you to do? Well, listen to the Pete the Planner Show. Yeah, it's a podcast. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts, or simply listen at ibjpodcasts.com.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.